Chapter 23. The Road Home. The city they had spent the night in slowly disappeared behind them as they followed the winding dirt road north. The sky was clear, the sun warm, and for the first time in what felt like ages, their journey had a defined destination: home. 1 whole year, Tobin mused, adjusting his saddle. Do you think people will even remember us? Soren glanced at him, a smirk tugging at the corner of his lips. I think they'll remember you well enough. You cause trouble everywhere you go. Tobin grinned. It's a gift. Their journey led them across rolling fields where wild horses roamed, through dense woodlands alive with birdsong, and past wandering merchants who eyed them with curiosity. One such merchant was Barnabas, a round-bellied man with a booming laugh and a caravan loaded with exotic goods. Traveling alone is dull, Barnabas declared, after inviting them to join his caravan for a stretch of the journey. And you two look like you've got stories worth hearing. Over the next few days, the brothers shared tales of their adventures while Barnabas traded them goods and trinkets in exchange for Soren's tea leaves. Tobin, eager to show off, demonstrated his fire spell. He managed to set a torch aflame, only to accidentally ignite Barnabas's prized wool cloak. You menace, Barnabas howled, batting at the smouldering fabric while Tobin scrambled to put it out. I think it's an improvement, Tobin muttered. Barnabas glared at him before letting out a wheezing laugh. You remind me of my son, full of trouble and always 2 steps from disaster. They parted ways at a crossroads where Barnabas gifted them a strange-looking fruit. Eat it when you're weary, he said. It'll put fire back in your belly. Neither Soren nor Tobin had any idea what that meant, but they thanked him nonetheless and rode on. Chapter 24. The Hidden Pass. The brothers reached the base of a forested valley, where an old road curved through dense trees. The signpost was long since weathered away, leaving only a jagged post sticking out of the ground. We should stick to the main road, Soren said, eyeing the overgrown path. But the old roads are more fun, Tobin argued. Soren sighed. Fun usually means trouble. Against his better judgment, Soren followed Tobin into the trees. At first, the ride was peaceful, the air was cool, and the canopy provided shade from the afternoon sun. But as they ventured deeper, the trees grew thick, their gnarled roots twisting across the path like grasping fingers. Then came the howling. A low, eerie sound carried through the trees, followed by a rustling in the underbrush. Their horses grew restless. Soren drew his sword, eyes scanning the shadows. Wolves? Tobin asked, gripping his reins. No, Soren muttered. Something else. A hunched figure emerged from the trees, a man draped in tattered robes, his eyes sunken and glowing faintly in the dim light. His mouth split into a grin, revealing sharp, jagged teeth. Travelers, so rare to see them on this road, the figure rasped. We took a wrong turn, Soren said carefully. Oh, no need to leave so soon, the man crooned. Why not stay a while? From the trees, more figures emerged, gaunt and shrouded in tattered cloth, their fingers tipped with blackened nails. Tobin swallowed hard. Robbers! They spurred their horses forward, racing down the twisting path as the creatures lunged from the shadows. Clawed hands scraped at Soren's boots, and Tobin narrowly avoided a grasping arm that shot out from the undergrowth. With a final burst of speed, they broke free of the forest, galloping into open fields. The figures did not follow. Breathing hard, Tobin turned in his saddle. What in all the hells were those? Not something I want to see again, Soren muttered. They didn't stop until they reached the next village, where they spent the night recovering in a warm tavern, nursing strong drinks and sore nerves. Chapter 25. Homecoming. After weeks of travel, the familiar lands of Ithanor stretched before them, golden fields and the shimmering waters of Lake Vanya in the distance. Tobin nearly fell off his horse in excitement. We're home, finally! Soren felt a weight lift from his chest. Despite everything, the deserts, the mountains, the near-death encounters, they had made it. As they approached Yeskin Bay, the city gates loomed tall. Guards eyed them warily at first, but recognition flickered in their eyes as they took in Soren's face. "By the gods," one muttered. "You're back?" Soren smirked. "Miss us?" The gate swung open, and the familiar streets welcomed them with the scent of fresh bread and sea air blowing in from the east. The city had changed in their absence. New buildings had risen, new faces wandered the streets, but it was still home. They made their way to Elira's house. The moment they reached the door, it swung open. Elira stood there, her expression torn between anger and relief. "You absolute idiots," Tobin grinned. She pulled them both into a tight embrace, her voice thick with emotion. "Don't you ever do that again." That night, over a feast of roasted meats and warm bread, the brothers told their stories of scorching deserts, enchanted mountains, and shadowed forests. As the fire crackled in the hearth, Tobin leaned back in his chair, stretching with a yawn. "So, when do we leave again?" Elira shot him a glare. Soren chuckled, sipping his drink. He had a feeling this was only the beginning.